Hey everyone. Oh, running late. Day one. It's like you start your job on day one and you're late because you're trying to look your best. Except I'm not trying to look my best because I don't care. I was just eating breakfast. Wife made an omelet, so yeah. That's why we're late. We're eating omelets and making coffee. Making coffee. Morning. Hey Cruller. So happy to join today. Hey man. How was everyone's weekend? You stopped your work as soon as you saw the notification? Nice. You have an exam tomorrow? Well, these streams in the morning are going to be pretty awesome going forward. I need to erase my chart here. Kind of a patronized only exclusive chart that we've been working with here. So just going to leave a few trends on my chart and that's it. You're learning a lot, trading 100 and testing what I have. Okay, wait. A lot to learn. I'm still not doing much. Trading 100 and testing what I have learned. Nice, dude. What up, Galaxy Brain? What up, Kamal? There's that new League of Legends commercial I always see, and it says in it, if you suffer from dumb brain, every time I hear any brain comment, I think of that clip. You suffer from dumb brain? Yes, actually, I do. You finally figured it out. It's a pretty cool promotion they have. I don't play League of Legends, I never have, but that commercial is definitely catchy. Okay, so let's talk about the direction of the morning show and what's going on here. Okay, we're gonna be here 5 days a week. Now we're officially starting today. There's gonna be times when we don't tune in, so I might need a Tuesday off for recording or like a Wednesday. So it's gonna be Monday to Friday with the exceptional day off, just due to recording purposes, right? Because I still have to put out a crazy amount of YouTube content. This channel is not turning into a stream only channel. Actually, it's going to be more focused on content, but the daily streams are still going to be here. And the daily morning streams are kind of going to act as a guide as to what's going on in the entire markets. So I'll give a quick, like, 5% TLDR version of what I talked to some of my other students about. And what I talk about my other students about is, I think a lot of people who are in my community are here because they are devout crypto traders. So I think this is a great thing. So I have kind of two groups of people. I have devout crypto traders and I have devout people who want to learn crypto. So you kind of have the blending of both worlds. It would be a crime to not evolve and to stay in one lane and only ever trade crypto and not look into your other stock markets, foreign exchange, commodities, stocks, all these other things, and vice versa. If you are in stocks, commodities, forex, it would be a crime not to be in crypto because they're all markets that we can trade, right? And as day traders, all we do is care about making money. But we don't have an opinion about oh, I love Bitcoin, let's support it. No, we don't care. We're simply day traders, and you know what we care about? We care about making dollars in the bank. That's what we care about as day traders, nothing else. So whether it's crypto, whether it's forex, it doesn't matter. And they all have kind of their own place, right? So I'm going to give you guys like a quick 2-minute rundown. This was like kind of almost an hour-long conversation with like some in-depth advice and stuff like that on Patreon yesterday. But I'm going to give you guys a 2-minute rundown as soon as I have a sip of my coffee, because yeah, I'm still waking up. Second run through the whole beginner's class, pretty helpful to stick to it, move on to the advanced stuff. Nice, Matthew. Make sure you get to the advanced, and when you're done that, make sure you get to Future of Trading, because Future of Trading is a beast of a course. Everybody's pushing that 50K sub hype, right? Free blueprint at 50K, that's a lot. That's a big one. And I think it's going to get pretty hot in my room today because I'm wearing a sweater, I'm drinking coffee, I've got lights shining on me from all angles, so I'm going to open my window before we start. I've got a cool little window that cranks open right there. It's pretty neat. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown before we kind of start today's show. Yesterday, I talked in great depth with my patron community, my expert tier, about kind of the different ways in which we should trade. You guys need to evolve as day traders outside of crypto, or if you're not in crypto and you're trying to evolve into crypto, you have to be trading all markets. Yes, I do have merch. It's on my Patreon. It's exclusive to Patreon, Lucifer. You have to be trading all markets. Okay. A quick example would be Bitcoin's extremely volatile. If you wanted to make $2,000 in a day, or $5,000 or $10,000, or even maybe $200, maybe your goal is $200 a day, crypto would be a good place to set those landmarks. Like, oh, I want to make $500 today. Crypto is a good place to do it because crypto is highly volatile, but it's kind of the scenario where you're trading crypto. You're in, you're out, right? Like you start at 8, you're done by 11, you're in, you're out. You've made your money with also the realization it's highly volatile. After that, you're putting your money in Tether. Of course, you're not holding it in Bitcoin. You're not doing any of that. It's too volatile to do that. This is where expanding into things like Forex helps. This is where expanding into stocks and commodities helps. Trading stocks is a little bit like crypto because it can be volatile, but it has less of that volatility. So I wouldn't recommend like swing or position trading in crypto. I think that's, unless it's like an EFT. Geez, I always say this. It's not an escape from Tarkov, an ETF. I play Escape from Tarkov, so I'm predispositioned to say an EFT, Escape from Tarkov. It's the acronym for a game I play. It's pretty fun. No, an ETF, sorry. Unless you're, position trading an ETF or swing trading an ETF, which also has a high amount of risk, by the way. Like I recently lost a little bit on Wi-Fi down because I tried to buy it and it just kept dumping. So I think it's not smart to position and swing trade a lot of cryptocurrencies as a day trader. Now, if you wanted to, instead of having your money in Tether, have it in maybe foreign exchange, well, you can manage it in there differently. You can manage it on swing trades. You can manage it on position trades. So imagine this: you go and you create your day trading routine in crypto or whatever, and you want to make your $500 a day. Fine. Well, what do you do after that? You put it in Tether. Well, that's great. You can keep it in Tether if you want. It's safe in Tether or whatever, Binance stable coin or whatever, PAX or whatever you choose to use. I don't care. But anyways, it's fine in there. But what happens when you want to start creating savings accounts? What happens when you want to use like tax-free savings accounts? What happens when you want to have family trusts, retirement funds, education funds, just a general savings fund? Well, you're going to put your money either into raw dollars, or you're going to use Forex and use a foreign exchange currency. Well, if your money's in a savings account, why not be doing something like buying the right Forex pairing when you're actually saving this money in an investment account? Well, what if you want to trade commodities and we'll go to a commodities chart after and we'll look at this. What if you want to be in gold or silver, for example? Like silver hits a critical level. You want to buy silver in your savings account and you want to let it sit there and ride out maybe 50 or 60%. Well, that's great. You can do that, right? Like imagine being a person who walks into the bank and you know nothing about finances and you say, I want to make 3% a year. Well, that's fine. And then they'll set you up with a banker and you'll get a savings account that you make 0.79% on government bonds, or you'll make whatever. You should be managing these accounts on your own as day traders. You guys should be managing these on your own. And you're going to pay a huge amount of taxes on crypto. So you don't always want to be trading only crypto. You want to have like tax-free savings accounts set up. You want to have RESPs. You want to have RSPs. You want to have funds for your children. You want to have a retirement fund set up. So if you go and make 10 grand a week in crypto or 20 grand a week in crypto, you don't want to have to pay 60% of that in taxes. Like there's different ways to shelter it and there's different ways to trade it so that you can have benefits, investments, retirements. You don't want to just keep your money in Tether only ever. That's like crazy. So for that reason, we're looking at different markets every single day. We look at cryptocurrency in the morning show. We look at Forex, we look at commodities, and we look at stocks. Stocks and commodities are kind of in the same realm, but not exactly. I learned, okay, fine. In a traditional sense, commodities are stocks. But for me, I kind of separate commodities because commodities are things like precious metals, wheat, oil, energy. I treat those a little differently than I do stock companies, like a tech company, something like Nike or Sony or Apple or Facebook or whatever, Vimeo, or it doesn't matter. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Or like a weed stock. Weed stock's another one, cannabis stocks. Like I don't see those as the same as commodities. To me, I see commodities differently because I trade them differently. So just as my own personalization, I categorize commodities on their own. Because if I'm trading something like wheat or energy, I'll have a completely different game plan than if I'm trading like a wheat stock or a pharma stock or like whatever tech stock I'm trading or an online company of some type. So for that reason, we have 4 categories we do in this morning show. We have crypto, we have Forex, commodities, and stocks. So those are kind of the 4 pillars that's going to be the morning show here. What's up, Cotton? What's up, Anthony? $20 USD today. Nice, dude. A gain is a gain. Oh, come on. $1 for the super chat. Thank you so much, dude. I think you're a dude or dudess. Either way, thank you. Good social life while being a trader? Nope, I don't think so at all. I think having a good social life goes hand in hand with being a day trader. That's a cool question. I will take a few questions before we start. So whatever's in chat right now, I'll take. I think it's like the best outside of being like a club promoter. I think being a day trader is the best form of social life. Like we make a lot of money, we work little hours, and like I don't want to confuse people. Okay, when you start and during your grind, you're going to work like a dog. You're going to be grinding like 12, 13, 14 hours a day. But you get to a point in day trading where you really just need to work for 2 or 3 hours a day. But that's at a professional level. That's at the pro level where you just set your positions and you walk away for the day. So like, what do you do with all your time? You make all this money. What do you do with your time? You start buying cars and going and having fun. So it's really good for social life. I'm not a very social person. On the contrary to what it might seem like online, I actually just like hanging out with my family online and I like hanging out with my family and being online. My kids, my wife, and my community are kind of my social lives. And I have a nice car that I like, and I have a nice house and stuff like that. But I'm very much a homebody. So, but if I weren't a homebody, day trading would be the life I would want. If I was going to, be out partying and clubbing and things like that, I don't do that stuff. But if that was my personality type, then yeah, day trading is the career I'd want. I'd want to be a club promoter or a day trader, simple, or like an athlete or something like that, right? Just because the amount of money you make just reduces the limits in life, and or it doesn't reduce them, it completely removes them, and you work low hours, so you have all the free time in the world. So yeah, I think it's important. But that's like a very skewed perspective because that's on the extreme side of being highly successful in this career. Before you get there, don't go nuts and think that, oh, this is it. Those are the benefits of being a professional at the highest level. Those are not like, oh, I want to be a day trader. These are don't look at it like that. Those are like the benefits of being at the highest level of this game, right? Which is very few. So don't expect it. But if you get there, enjoy it, I guess. Almost 1.4K in profit from the videos, dude. Dude, that's awesome, Edward. Dude. Good old magnet tool. How do you deal with the pain? The mental analysis side. I'll be talking about that in the future. How many bullets you hit every 10 trades? What do you mean by bullets? Bullets could be like a good bullet, a bad bullet. I'll never reveal my net worth in a video. No, what do you think? I'm crazy? I don't want to. Talking about your own personal finances, no good can come out of that. There's a saying in the world that if nothing good can come out of what you're about to talk about, don't talk about it. I've been asked that question lots of times, like my net worth or how much I make a year, blah, blah, blah. I'll never talk about that stuff. There's no good that can come out of that, and only bad. What car do I drive? I have a few cars. I have a 2018 M3 Ultimate in Mexico Blue, which is an extremely rare color on an extremely rare package. So a very nice 2018 M3. I only drive it in the summer, so it's only got a few thousand kilometers on it. Well, miles, I guess you guys would know it as. It only has a few thousand miles on it. I only drive it in the summer. I work on it myself. I do a lot of aftermarket tuner stuff on it because I did grow up building cars with my pops. So yeah. I like the fact that I have to answer to no one, no boss, no clients. Yeah, it's the best part of this job is that you just wake up and do your thing, right? What learning tools did you use when you first started and you knew nothing about day trading? Nothing, man. I reverse engineered it all myself. I used absolutely nothing and learned from absolutely nobody. I used no tools to help me learn. It was just a raw science that I was reverse engineering it because I knew it existed, because you could tell. Big projects or something like that? I do. We'll talk about that in the future, though, when it's closer to fruition. Instead of hyping people out right now, we'll talk about it closer in the order blocks. I think are no point in looking at books. If you're going to trade the books, you're already failing. So order blocks, don't do that. How much did I start with? Like nothing. I started with nothing. I was a poker player, and when poker shut down in 2011, I was in university. and I needed a way to pay for my tuition. So it just went from clicking buttons in one platform online, and I thought, okay, well, poker just got shut down. Black Friday happened. The Fed shut down poker in 2011. How do I make money now? So it's like, okay, well, I'm this kid in university, and I needed to find another way to pay for my tuition. And I was so used to just sitting at home clicking buttons online. The stock markets made sense. I was like, oh, well, this is a way I could click buttons online and make money. So that's what we started with nothing. Slippage in transaction costs. Do you think the 20th will have an impact on BTC? Nah. Hey, what's up, Trading for Animals? Dude, good to see you, man. Me and Trading for Animals talk a bit on Twitter. I don't know what's happening on the 20th, nor do I care, because fundamental analysis means zero. Same, somebody asked about USDT. I think there's a lawsuit or something going on. I have no inclination to look at that. Okay, let's get into it. So you guys are going to notice a few upgrades here. I've made some scenes. I've wanted to really create some different psychological barriers for these scenes. We're going to go right into the first one, cryptocurrencies here. I've created a few scenes. Now, the idea was, okay, let's... So first and foremost, I could have done this full screen on my charts, but I thought, no, I don't want to do it full screen because I want very defined psychological barriers for my audiences to know I'm trading crypto. Because like I said, when I'm trading crypto, I have a different mindset when I'm trading crypto, okay? When I trade crypto, I am specifically looking to generate my daily income. So I trade crypto, I generate my daily income, that is it. So instead of having a full screen experience, I have a few different scenes. And we'll go to one real quick right now, and then I'll save the other two. So for example, when I'm trading Forex, there's another scene that I use. Forex, for example, and I made all these graphics. I do like doing some graphic design stuff. Again, I want there to be a very specific split of expectations. When I'm trading Forex, it's with the idea that I'm looking to trade a different type of account. I'm looking at trading like my savings account, my RRSPs, my TSFAs, things like that. I am trading the accounts where my money is safe and I can manage small but very steady expectations of growth. So, you know, you want to go and make 1% a year at the bank on your savings account. Well, I use my kind of my Forex schema to make, you know, 1% a week or whatever it is. I go and make my 40 or 50% a month on these kinds of accounts, or it's typically more. But anyways, point being is that this is safe money in safe accounts where I hold my assets and I trade Forex. So there had to be a very big psychological barrier with my audience when I'm thinking of, okay, let's do some different scenes. Let's not just have a full screen and talk about, okay, well, now we're trading crypto, now we're trading Forex. It had to be a very clear, defined psychological barrier. So for that reason, I opted to go with some screens. There's a little less real estate on the screen in terms of the charts themselves, as they are a bit of a reduced screen. However, I'm streaming in 4K, so you just have to increase your monitor size and you guys should see it perfectly fine. So no qualms, and that's why we're doing it like this. How long did it take to become a profitable trader? Long time. How do you suggest to deal with too many questions during lessons? Like my own lessons like this. I don't. I just answer them, dude. President stuff. You the man. Thanks, Trend and Productions. And you'll notice a couple cool little effects happen. Like I have my name fade in and out, and the lights in the background change colors to match the scene. So my lights in the background change colors to match the scenes. So, okay, let's start out with Bitcoin. Do a quick breakdown of Bitcoin. Got a few different trends here. A few different levels we marked and worked with yesterday in the patron group. Just going to leave them up so I don't have to remark them, as it's pretty easy to just keep them up here. So immediately right now, Bitcoin is... It's hit its, I don't want to say it's hit its top. It's hit its all-time high for now. Right now, it's trying to develop a range in order to see if it can break out. So Bitcoin right now has already kind of found its highest level right now, and it has a range in which it's going to see if it can break through. And in order to break through that range, it's got to kind of continue to hold this trend. So there's just very simply right now, there's two trends in Bitcoin, and there's a bunch of levels and interplay and stuff like that that's happening between, right? There's a bunch of different ranges, and immediately you'd probably have something like this, which is the current local range to the break of the move, which is exactly what was hit, and it's pulling back off that local break. So right now, as of this morning, so when did this happen actually? So this is pretty recent. Okay, so this is actually pretty recent. So you've got the break of the move that happens right here. Like you guys are all seen future trading and everything like that. So you've got the break of the move that happens right here. You've got the range of the break, and it simply hit the range of the break. So it's continuing its ladder down. Right now, it does look like Bitcoin is going to have a bit of a breakdown through trend. This would have really been the best spot to buy a short at 37.5. Funny, we called 37.5 in Patreon yesterday. I told my guys yesterday in Patreon, if any of them are here, I hope you guys took that. I told you guys to short 37.5. So, or I don't tell people what to short. That's wrong to say. I didn't tell anybody because it's not, I just say this is where I would do it. And that's what we looked at was 37.5 on a 100x contract. So that's good. If they took that, let's, see, already up, 7,500 or whatever, depending on their sizing and positions and things like that. But yeah, if I was taking that trade, it would have been 7,500 USD up. So yeah, that's good. You know what? It's just laddering off the range. It looks like it's going to attempt to break this trend. This is the trend that's holding the move back right now. And this trend is created from a long time ago. This is, you can see there's no base and reach points here. The base and reach points are actually from back here. If you guys want to learn how to draw that stuff, that's Butterfly Effect Blueprint Future of Trading. So go study it. Don't ask me how I do it. Just go study it. I have lessons on this. That's why I put them out. And yeah, really Bitcoin right now is just looking to break down through its trend. So you've got a trend on either side of this thing. If you go on top of this trend here, you're going to back test the trend, see if it can hold. And then if it does, you're going to start to create the range for the next move up, right? You're going to create something that very much looks like this down here, where you kind of hold the range of this move. You hold the range of this move for, a period of time. And then you just simply move up afterwards, break trend, back test trend, hold up, create your range, right? And see if there's a larger time frame that can hold you down. But really right now, the important moment to see if Bitcoin can continue moving up or not is these two trends. And you're never buying these trends, you're buying the moments before. Like you'd be shorting this moment here, right? Like you would have already shorted 37.5, which is very clear on the charts. Like it's right there. It's very easy to spot on the charts. So you would have been shorting that moment and not the trend break. Really, you'd be using the trend break as what we call trigger points. So you'd use a trigger point. Again, you want to learn that stuff, it's all there for you on GateX, the advanced courses. So really you'd be looking at your trend as a trigger point here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. It's very simple right now. There's two trends. Bitcoin is very predictable and very simple right now. I suppose what you'd want to see if it's going to hold price up is you'd want to see it at a minimum hold 35.2. You'd want to see it hold as a minimum. Oh God, we got to take magnet tool off for that. You'd want to see like 35.2. as a minute. Like this is what it's going to have to come back and hold if it's going to continue to break its range up, like right here. Yeah, like 35.2 if it's going to hold its range and break up. So yeah, if you really think Bitcoin's going to be breaking up, then you'd want to be like magnet tool. God, you curse me every day, I swear. I know there's a hotkey for it. You'd really want to be like right here, 35.2. Maybe even 35.3. No, 35.2 is good. Yeah, 35.2 is good. If you're doing like 100x, like I don't know, 35.285 is pretty decent. Where it really where I marked is not bad. You could get a little greedier on the trade actually, but I don't know if I would suggest that. You might even want to go 35, like 320. So depending on the amount of leverage you're using, like 35, 335, something like that for a different amount of leverage, maybe even like 35, 370 if you wanted to go like a smaller leverage, but really I would be looking more at these lower ranges if I was going for a higher leverage trade. You can't watch it in 4K? Well, you should have at least 1080p. I trade on Binance. After watching all your crypto courses, how should I start day trading for a living? For now, I'm holding only. You just start taking positions every day, and you start creating. You would just use Binance, right? And you just hold your money in USDT and then transfer it to your bank account when you want to withdraw. Well, I'm not sure. You're only holding for now. Like holding is not smart. Use control when drawing the magnet tool. It stops torch. Really? Seriously? Okay, so if I turn this on, what do we have this at? 35,372. Oh, if I hold control, tip of the day right there, Camilo. I think people have told me that in comments before in the YouTube channels. I have so many comments. I go there 100, like 50 comments a day. I have like 10, 15 emails to answer a day. Sometimes I don't, it doesn't stick, but just hold control. Dude, that's a pro tip. Is a trade view? Oh, hey Austin, thanks for the fiver, man. Is the paid version worth it? No, not at all. I would not pay for TradingView. I love TradingView, but I don't see any features in TradingView that warrant paying for it. Not a single one. Oh, you just Billy, you just put it to whatever exchange. Like, it's not about Binance allowing you or not allowing you to withdraw. It's about the exchange supporting the transfer to your bank. Like, you could use another exchange to transfer money to your bank. Like, people transfer money to their bank in Kraken or whatever. As long as you're following the laws of your country, it's perfectly fine. It's not about like, oh, you can't do it. It's just Binance doesn't support it. So you would just change it. Like Coinbase, I think allows. Yeah, Coinbase does. Yeah, I know, because I've had people show me on Coinbase how it's done. So Coinbase allows you to take US dollars out from cryptocurrencies. So you would just transfer it to another exchange and then just withdraw from that exchange. Fixed range. I don't use any of those tools, man. 1-20 leverage over 1-20. It's completely up to you what you want to do your leverage on. Is it possible to leverage 3x on small percentage entries like 3 to 5? It depends on your education level. I would say, Ricardo, base it on your education level. Yeah, Austin, is there any features that you have like questions about on TradingView? Because I've used TradingView for a long time and I've had paid and non-paid versions, but I simply don't see a version where paying for it makes sense. Okay, let's go on to Forex. Forex. Let's go JPY because we looked at this recently. Okay, that's it for the Bitcoin breakdown. Forex, we're going to have to start building a bit of a portfolio on here. We're going to have to start building some expectations on Forex. So for today, for Forex, until I actually create the list of things we are going to trade, which I'm going to do today, we're simply going to look at USD Cad. We're going to look at JPY. USD Jpy is something that was brought up on the last stream, so I'd like to kind of keep close eye on it. And we talked about a level it needed to hit, and let's see if we can remember that level. So we talked about it having to hit 102. Was it 102 or 101? I believe it was 101. So we want to really keep JPY on our radar. I believe it was like 102.50, or is it 101.50? I'm gonna have to chart this and take a look at it a little later. But okay, right now we can immediately look at like 102. Let's see what is it on the daily. Here, and that's already tested. That's fine. So now you're here. That's fine. So really, you are looking to ladder off this range. Yeah, so really you're looking at 102.50. So we will be looking at 102.50 on JPY. 102.50, come on, 102.50 right here. It's kind of tested, isn't it? Pretty close. What about the larger time frame? Are you already breaking the move? Not quite. You're not breaking the move quite yet, but you are going to be something like that right there. Yeah. So that is a trend in the moment right there that's trying to be broke. So hopefully this trend kind of pulls it back and you do get entry back down here. I suppose your entry is going to be much lower now too. So your entry is not actually going to be at 102.50 because your entry can actually be a lot lower if this trend rejects. I think you can even be at like 101.50. 102.50 really is the level. Jesus, that really is the level here. So it really has to break the range then and backtest something else, which it's not going to do. Yeah, you'd really be looking at 100.50 here. If this trend continues to hold it back, 100.50. You know what? We're going to mark 2 levels. Control is a wonderful little shortcut tool. Now I'm realizing you can copy, paste, click, and you can also turn off the magnet tool. It's a fantastic tool. Possible to be profitable using minimal indicators. I don't use any of that crap. MAs, EMAs, RSIs, it's all shit. I don't use any of that. Okay, and let's look at USD Cad. On Oanda or FX? Maybe Oanda. Nah, you know what? We're just going to go with FX. It's fine. Yeah, if you're using indicators, you are definitely doing yourself an injustice. Like EMAs, RSIs, all that crap is useless. Thanks for the answer. Love the content. Wicked, man. Thanks. Okay, so wonder if we should look at CAD USD instead, because I'm on the other side of the fence here. So we should use CAD USD instead. Oh, I have a chart on this from whenever, apparently. So, okay. Yeah, okay. Apparently I have a chart on CAD USD already. Well, let's delete it for the most part. Oh man, I was pretty accurate on this. I don't know when this chart is from, but it's definitely a few years old. Maybe it's not. Actually, no, maybe this is recent. Looks kind of recent. Okay, well, we could just start deleting some of this stuff. Like, we don't need a lot of this. I'm assuming this is old, but I don't really know. Okay, fine. Break trend, backtest trend. You're moving up the move right now, so you're here. But this is kind of irrelevant, to be honest with you. That's irrelevant. Okay, so you failed there. Hit the range there. So we definitely want to keep an eye on JPY. And what we're going to do is we're going to build out our list of Forex currencies. That way we kind of every day start tackling new currencies and seeing what's closer to these moments where we're going to actually wanting to shift some funds into Forex. So for now, what we are doing is we are starting to look at the different markets that we're going to trade. So we'll do a few coins each day, right? We'll do JPY, we'll do CAD, we'll do peso, we'll do ruble, we'll do everything, right? Like we'll do a lot of these Forex trading pairs. And you know, when the right one is to buy, that's when we're going to start shifting some of those assets there. Yeah, okay, CAD looks like it's going to go through a bit of a pullback. It kind of failed its move a little bit. It's the move isn't over. It's still in kind of a local piece to its move, but immediately what you'd be looking at is this right here, which breaks to there. Yeah, so it's actually, oh, come on. So you're actually on a bigger time frame here. You simply need to be on a bigger time frame. That's fine. And then even then, you have a more localized trend right here. Right here is your more localized trend. So yeah, okay, this is really what needs to hold up the move. So CAD is definitely looking like it's going to go through a bit of a pullback here. So that's good. It's just what range is it pulling back to? So CAD is what, 79 cents it hits? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you'd really expect it to pull back to at least 77 cents and then see if it can test a lower range inside of this. But you'd really look for a pullback to 77 and ultimately 75 cents. Problem with 75 cents is if you pull back that range, you've broken local trend and you're in a larger piece of the move. So that's fine as well. Okay, coffee break. Join the Discord if you want to do that stuff, Rook Photography. In Discord, you're welcome to share as many charts as you want. What indicators are aligned, Ricardo? None. I don't use indicators, man. The indicators are a complete waste of time. If you're using them, you don't know what you're doing, or you think you know what you're doing, and you simply don't. I'm a stout believer that indicators are completely garbage for many reasons, which I won't get into. But for the very core reason, they don't show you anything. What is your leverage on Forex? Today, we're just looking at Forex pairings. We're starting to build up our repertoire. Yesterday, Patreon moved to, or sorry, Discord moved to Patreon only. So it's whoever's on Patreon is in Discord. Rigster. So in order to be in the Patreon, you have to sign up on Discord. The other way around. In order to be on Discord, you have to sign up on Patreon. You know your win percentage? I don't pay attention to that stuff. I just pay attention to the bank account tech dot. How do I know I'm actually doing advances and improving, or I'm just being lucky in my trades? Study. Courses. Courses is the only way to improve. Courses and practice, right? And then, I mean, you'll see your bank account grow if you know you're doing good or not. I use just BTC USDT, Bingus. Yeah, I can use something better than dark purple. You're probably right about that. The dark purple is probably really hard to see because it fades into my background. I have a really good monitor, and I'm on my screen, it's easy to see. So what we'll do is we'll change it to kind of this brighter purple color. How is that? This darker purple here is what we were using, and we'll change it to like this brighter pink. Maybe we could even go even like pinker. I'm looking at my other screen. Yeah, the pink is decent. We'll just do the brighter palette for all the colors. I have my colors are different time codes for me, so I use this specific colors. Like I wouldn't change this line, for example, to like a bright yellow because that's a very specific time code that I use as yellow. So I wouldn't do that, but I can definitely use like the brighter tone in that palette. So like the purple lines will go bright purple. The $25 tier, Austin. The $25 tier gives you access to Discord, but you get it on all the patron tiers. You're on Patreon and got kicked today. Guess it ran out. If you canceled your patron subscription, that might be what happens. I have it all automated by patron, so if not, then just if you're still on Patreon, Rigster, then just send me a message on Patreon and I'll get it sorted. I check my Patreon every day, so if you're still on Patreon and then you realize that you don't have access for some reason, it could just be a bot error. From time to time, like once a month, the bot makes a mistake and kicks out the wrong person. The patron bot is a little wonky. Blame patron for that one. But yeah, so if you are still on Patreon and you're still paying your monthly fee or whatever, just message me. Sometimes it happens. How much money can day traders make monthly in percentage? Depends on the day trader. You can make thousands of % a month. You could make 2%. Depends on the day trader and the level. Depends on the day trader and the level of experience. Do you think you'll be able to trade successfully after phase 1 or after both phases? So what do you mean by phase 1? You mean that what I have on GateX on like the phases panel on GateX? So commodities. So let's talk about commodities for a second. So commodities is going to be a big one to tackle. So I may do a longer stream this week. So as I'm going through the stream, I'm realizing that I'm just not even scratching the surface of all these coins. So I think what we need to do is we need to go through and have longer streams this week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we need to do like 2 to 3 hours of focusing on just one section. The morning show is only supposed to be 45 minutes, which is fine. But maybe for the first week, what we'll do, because we're not even like really doing anything here. We're kind of just chilling and chatting and looking at a few pairs, which is fine. Bitcoin, easy. Crypto, easy. You do Bitcoin, you're in, you're out, you're done. It should take you all of 5 minutes to chart all of your crypto stuff a day. 5 minutes, you're done, right? And then you're just managing your positions based on the levels you mark. Because really, you should just only be trading Bitcoin. If you're trading altcoins, you should still, it's all derived from Bitcoin anyways. So if Bitcoin's pumping, alts are pumping. If Bitcoin's dumping, alts are dumping. So it doesn't matter. You should be in and out crypto 5 minutes, but we need to build our repertoire a bit of all these different coins. So I think what we need to do this week is, instead of having kind of the morning show, we'll have the morning show next week. We'll still have the morning show, but what we're going to do is we're going to spend a few hours on each segment really breaking down what we're needing to look at forex wise, what we're needing to look at commodities wise, and then what we're going to be needing to look at stocks wise in order to build kind of that schema to move forward next week. So we can do our like 30 or 45-minute morning show, go over everything we need to go through, and then be set for the day and just walk away kind of thing, right? So I think that's what we're going to do this week. So after today we're just going to kind of go through this. I'll answer questions again today. I'll still go through a few commodities, and then I'll go through a few stocks after, but really afterwards we need to be taking a few hours to really just kind of look at that stuff. So that's going to be the schedule for this week. Trading live right now? No, I don't trade live on the morning shows. I'm more looking at the markets, and then I trade live in Discord and on the expert tier. Yeah, Basher, it depends how much money can day traders make. It depends, man. You can make 1% a month, or you could make 1,000. It depends on your level of expertise. There's days where I make 40% total account a day. There's days where I make nothing for a week because I'm just not trading. So it just really depends on the level of trader. That's such a loaded question, because it's like, yeah, it's such a bi-directional answer, tri-directional, omnidirectional. It's such a I could just call it a loaded question, because there's no quick answer. Yeah, Austin, the $25 tier will give you access though, but you definitely get more benefits and perks if you go above that tier. Is it possible to start living from crypto trading after 6 to 8 months studying, taking courses, and practicing? Depends on how good of a trader you are and how much you study, I suppose, Ricardo. if you only take the beginner's course, then it's probably going to be a lot harder. The more education you have, obviously, the better, just like kind of common sense, but it really depends. Like another loaded question. The phase panel, because advanced phase, FLT1 blueprint phase. I think, no, I don't use Newton. I don't use anything like that. I don't even know what Newton is, but I know I don't use it. So nope. Let's take some live trades. Nope. Make 500 on my 100 and then just go up. Yep, good goal. And traders in Africa get some discount. I really want butterfly effect. I just finished your FOT trading. Gone through all your videos on YouTube already. As much as I love Africa, my wife is from Africa. There's no discounts for anybody. No soup for you, as they say in Seinfeld. Yeah, no, I don't really do discounts. I don't think it's fair to the people who do pay full price. And then, yeah, again, as much as I love Africa, no soup for you, my friend. No discounts. Okay, so let's look at gold here. Gold and silver. So silver is one we also charted yesterday. Gold, okay, let's start with gold. I wouldn't really touch gold right now. I think the price is too high. I think if you were looking at gold, you needed to be looking back here, something like this, to see if this can backtest. And when that, oops, sorry, that's the wrong point here, right here. I would be looking at this trend break to see if it can hold through the move. And then after that, I would be looking at this trend right here. Come on, right there. And if that can backtest and hold, then that's where I would have been looking at gold entries down in here on the bottom side of its range. Up here, I think it's just too late. And to short gold, I think there's not enough there right now to consider a short. I think if you were going to be shorting gold, you should have done it off of this range right here. So I think if you were going to be shorting gold, it had to be right here. And you'd be using your triggers right now to be in or out of this trade. So I really don't think gold is worth looking at. Silver is something we broke down yesterday, and silver was really interesting because silver tested its range almost perfectly. So like silver has a range here and it tested it pretty much perfectly. Not there. It's on a different time frame. Maybe it was the daily time frame. We broke this down yesterday. Yeah, so silver has its range right here and it tested it almost perfectly and held its move. So this is the kind of stuff we're going to be looking for in commodities. We're going to be looking at different commodities to take some swing and position trades. But again, we need to kind of build our repertoire here. You know, today we're kind of just marking out a few things, but we're going to take some time this week, build a repertoire of a bunch of different commodities, and then obviously just pick the one at the right time, right? It's all about timing. So, you know, silver, this would have been a perfect moment. Right now, what's silver doing? Yeah, silver still looks like it's moving up. Silver looks like it's still moving up. But again, it's so far past the moment that would make sense to buy silver that we're simply not there anymore. We might look back at silver down and around $15 if we pull back to 15, but I don't even think you're going to break down below $19.50 here. I don't think you're going to even break down below that. Also, if you guys have like a recommendation stock for what we're doing, like if there's a commodity you want to see, let me know. And we can always look at it. So what do we, crude oil, I look at crude oil a lot. Yeah, crude oil had that massive dump right down to its range, right? Like crude oil had that massive dump right down to its range and even lower inside of its range. And that was when the oil war was happening, I suppose. And crude oil went, and there was an oil's futures contract that went down to $0.01 and then up to like $100. It was so ridiculous. Oil is something I'm interested in to trade. I don't know to what extent, but I might be looking to short oil. I'm going to be putting a bit of time in this week, but I might be looking to short oil around $60. We're going to see really where it goes and how it reacts to its kind of current interior range right now that it's at. So I'd really be interested in oil if it comes to around the $60 mark to short maybe around like 61.20. $61.50, something in and around the range that it rejected off previously. Yeah, in and around $61 is where it looks like it's going to kind of go after. Although it could stop at 55 as well. Oil is definitely, crude oil is definitely something I'm going to be looking at in and around $61, like right here. Oops, sorry, wrong range. in and around right there, $61. Chat's popping off. I can see it scrolling from the corner of my eye. Ooh, somebody said copper. I like that one. Copper. What's the ticker for copper? I'm just going to put copper. I'm sure it's here. Copper futures. We could look at a futures chart for copper, or do we want to look at just copper? Yeah, we could look at a few. I've never charted copper, so I'm not too sure what the charts for copper are. So copper futures, obviously copper is moving, futures are moving too. So yeah, this already had its move. Again, it would have been back testing this range back here. So you would have been back, you would have been back testing this range right there. You didn't quite get there. So instead you got to the backside, which is showing that you're going to move up, which is right here. So yeah, you really missed the boat on this one. That's a futures contract too. Jesus, that would have been tough. Like, would you have gotten liquidated on this? I guess it depends on the scope of the derivatives, if it's derivatives or if it's margin. But you could have done like a 50x on this and not, well, 50x would have been pretty close to being liquidated. Maybe not quite, but maybe like a 25x would have been okay. So 85% on 25x, boy, that's a lot of money. So that's definitely, yeah, I'm not sure what copper's future. I guess it depends on the platform, what they have, right? But copper's future, wow, this thing popped off. Natural gas. First and only warning, Aniket. If you spam again, you're gone. Okay, what's next? Butterfly effect is where I talk about ranges. What is it, money? Buying copper stocks. What's the ticker for copper? Yeah, what's the ticker for copper outside of the futures chart? Like what ticker are you guys using for copper? I do not wear contact lenses. Nope. The copper's future. I'm sure there's index funds for it. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on from copper. That's fine. So we did look at Facebook on the weekend. Yeah, Facebook testing its level, right? Like ultimately Facebook is going to pull back even more. I don't think Facebook's going to hold this right now. Gold, we looked at gold. Oh, my throat's starting to bug me. Holy Hannah, too much talking. Although if Facebook continues to hold this like 244 level, 244 in and around where it's at right now, if it continues to hold this, it needs time though. Like it needs to hold this upper range for a long time. I don't think it's possible at this point. I think if Facebook is going to move up, it has to hold until like June, July. So if this thing flatlines for a few weeks, sure, it's going to move up. But I think it's way too premature to start looking at longs on Facebook. And I think it's way too late to look at shorts. For that reason, we're just going to move on. Let's check Starbucks. I love charting Starbucks. This chart is as old as dogs. So this is gone, hit, this is gone, gone, gone. Let's turn up the colors on these ones because they're a little too hard to see. I'm not, this chart I've been working with for like years on end. Broke above its range, excuse me. Broke trend, broke above its range. What happened to Starbucks back in April? That's insane. These are gone, not to be hit, not to be hit. What happened to Starbucks that it broke its move here? Just completely lost its range. Really amazed that Starbucks is even moving up right now. Not for technical analysis reasons, just because I'm surprised people are still buying coffee. But I guess they're probably doing home services and things like that. Dogs? What's dogs? International Corp. Okay, so this is okay, yeah, okay. Dogness. What is Dogness? I know nothing what this is. Dogness International Corp. So you'd be here as your first part of the move break right there. To onset that, you would be here, right here. So that's your we can change the color on this one. It's a little confusing. We'll go green on this one. So your purple line is where it's first going to test and break, and then if it breaks out of the second line, then it's going to your second trend here. It's obviously going to have a larger move up, and then it's just simply going to go back attack this range right here, right? Like, okay, it's already hit that range, so then it'll simply back attack this range right here. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. It's already hit its move. It's pulling it back. Just check a different time frame here. So you'd be looking to get in around $4 as a short. So you'd be looking at like 402 as a short right here. You'd be looking at 402 as a short on this thing. That'll be the next range it pushes to, and 402 will decide if it can keep pushing up in the future or not. So 402 will be a pretty important part of this chart. 402 is definitely like the most important part of this chart to see if it can continue to move up in the future. And even 402, it can push like 412, 415, 416. You can even just mark it here, 416. So you've got kind of two ranges that it can hit during its move up, depending on the leverage you're using and the risk you want to take. But I think 402 is definitely Dogness International Corporation. Whatever this is, Dogness, really this would be where you're looking to short to see if this thing is actually going to continue to hold its range and ladder up over time. And then 402 should pull back to around the 220 somewhere. In and around the 220, and it'll pull back to in and around here. So you're really going to just test the level and then just see what you're going to do off this trend here with this. Thanks for being so awesome and humble. Thanks, Caleb. I like your name, Caleb. That's Celtic, isn't it? Oh, thanks, Salamander. Increase the screen size? No, Kato. Just increase your viewing size. I always use stop losses. I just base what I do off of TA only. Everything else is just, yeah. You're in the wrong place if you think that there's room in the stock markets for emotion. You know, the stock markets are all stock markets in the world are based off quant funds. They're based off hedge funds. They're based off funds. They're not, you know, made and created by the little guys like us. We just simply need to learn their methods to you know, we need to learn institutional methods in order to keep up, because, you know, for every, you know, I've been approached by a lot of different companies to go and do technical analysis work with them. Now, it's people like me they approach and they offer bags of cash to help them make these quant funds or these quant trading bots or these trading bots, or teach their people. Like I've taught at institutions and exchanges and stuff like that before. So, you know, it's people like me. Now, what I've taught those institutions and exchanges is limited to what I actually know, but within reason to what my contracts have been. So, you know, for as much as people want to think that there's like emotion of all fundamental analysis, news, it's all crap. It's just so much crap. It's not even funny. So if you're using like these indicators, if you're using these things like Fibonacci's, moving averages, like institutions don't use that stuff. They have such advanced algorithms and such high level traders making these big decisions that stuff doesn't do anything. So yeah, I mean, you're simply in the wrong channel if you think that, you know, going for like news articles or, you know, emotion or feelings or intuitions, like that shit doesn't fly. It doesn't work. It's not even logical to think it would when you have trillions and billions of dollars being run through the markets. You think, you know, those big dogs at the top are just, I've got a whim today. It doesn't work like that. People don't use whims when it comes to money. They use concrete sciences and things that work without failure, right? So it's just kind of common sense. It's a mixed name. It's pronounced a little differently though. Galib. Yeah, I guess because I'm Irish, I always look at things with a Celtic eye. Oh, I know that name, Galib. I could be wrong. How do you find new stocks to trade? I'm improving my TA skills, but how do you find the stocks to analyze? So Austin, that is what I'm doing this week. I'm going to be continuously looking. So I think, Austin, this is a really good question, and I'm glad you pinned this question. So I think here's the thing. I think you have to have your cores that you trade. Like Bitcoin for me is my staple. Like if I need to make income, I'll go trade 100x on Bitcoin. Like that's my staple, right? So I think you have to have your staples, and from a list of staples, you build and expand and just start charting different things. And like for example, this week we're going to be doing one day a week for different things. Like tomorrow we're going to be looking at forex. So I'm going to go through all the forex pairings that I want to potentially trade this coming year, and I'm going to start just charting them. And then when I find an opportunity that makes sense, I'm going to look at that time frame and I'm going to say, okay, this is the next one coming up. For example, maybe like today I charted CAD USD. I also charted JPY. Tomorrow we'll look at the GBP. We'll look at a bunch of things, right? So maybe for some reason GBP is about to hit a move. I'm going to chart every single one of these, and I'm going to say what's the next one to hit a move, right? And I'm going to mark out, and I'm going to keep an eye on them every day. And then I'm just going to take a chance on it. Then I'm going to say, okay, GBP looks like it's a spot that I want to buy, so I'm going to try this one. I wouldn't just randomly start buying forex pairings. I would buy the one that makes sense. And if I have to wait 3 months to get the right trade, I wait 3 months to get the right trade in that. Although I think that's a little crazy to wait 3 months. But again, my staple is crypto, so I'm going to be leverage trading Bitcoin every single day, 100x leverage trades on Bitcoin every single day. And then when the time comes, it's time to trade like a forex pairing, then I'll take that chance. So you just have to slowly and methodically chart other coins, other things, and then start expanding your horizon and start increasing the amounts of positions you take. And then over time, you're just going to get used to trading different coins and stocks. Order book is not important. 0. I have no opinion on anything long term. If it makes me money long term, then I'll buy it. I have no opinion on any kind of long term predictions. Really good question though, Austin. And then you can even just start like, what would be a good way to start exposing yourself to the different coins? So say you're like, okay, your forex pairings, but you want to trade more and you don't know what to search. You can just simply do like a broad search in terms of like, there's pharma stocks, for example. You can start just Googling top pharma stocks. Not that you'd want to trade them, but you would just start exposing yourself to different names of the stock, so you can see, oh, there's this pharma stock and that pharma stock, and then you're going to stumble on to different things. And check on your exchange too, like whatever you're using for an exchange, check your exchange listings too. Like you can just go through the list of coins or stocks or assets or currencies or whatever on commodities on whatever exchange you're trading on, and you can just start picking random tickers and just start charting them. Just pick something. If it's traded on your exchange, just pick it and chart it. And if it's coming up to something you want to buy, maybe take a little bit less risk on it, but take a chance on it, right? It's always the same questions I get asked: order books, long term, and yeah, as long so Mecca has a good point. As long as you're trading something with volume and liquidity, then you should be able to trade it. That's important too. Like you don't want to trade something that's dead in the water, because if you go and buy $30,000 or $40,000 worth of it, then you're going to be stuck with it, right? You can't actually get rid of it, and if it dumps, you're kind of pooched. So we already did BTC, Ricardo. So you definitely want to be trading something with volume and liquidity. So that's important. Mecca has a very good point. I'm not sure, Christian. You're going to have to look into different exchanges for that. So there's ways to trade leverage in the US, but you'll have to do your own research on that. Okay, so what else do we want to look at stocks wise? What about Amazon? Amazon's probably just going crazy with COVID. Jesus, $3,000 a stock on Amazon. This thing is not even close to slowing down either, I don't think, from $50 to $3,000. So these are like big blue chip stocks, like these big stocks like this. I would probably stay away from them. I'd be looking at smaller things. Amazon's just not going to cut it. Nike's a pretty large company too, but Nike is one. And then also I am waiting for my corporate brokerage account to get set up. So I have a corporate brokerage account setting up right now. So hopefully it'll be done this week, and then I'll have my list on my setup. So here's something that you guys should be doing right now. I don't know what the hell this all is, but apparently I charted this. Let's just remove it all. So here's something that you guys should be doing right now while we're in kind of our setup phase and the very beginning of the morning show, and we're setting up accounting, we're finding what pairings we want to be looking at. What you guys need to do if you're going to be day traders, and I said this in my one of my live the Trading Life series, I said this in one of there. What you need to do is you need to go and set up your trading accounts. So what I mean by that is not just simply, I wanted to go trade on Robinhood, so let me go trade on Robinhood and just sign up an account in 2 minutes. I would highly recommend you guys trade through your banking brokerage. Again, this is not advice. Just like I said in the video, it's not accounting advice. It's not advice. I would highly recommend you trade through your bank because your fees are going to be a lot lower than these exchanges, because you're paying it directly to the actual stock exchange itself. So you're not paying it to the bank. The bank makes their fees differently. They'll take a small cut of something else, but you're going to probably pay the least through a bank if you're trading directly through a bank platform. If it's a big bank, of course. And then also for taxation and reporting reasons, I would highly recommend you guys trade through your bank. So if you don't have that set up, you guys really need to consider setting up, like whatever you guys choose for brokerage. I trade through my bank. Whatever you guys choose for brokerage, you should set it up. You should set it up now and don't leave it till the last minute. Like set that up now. Even if you're not trading, set it up, because if you're doing corporate setups or something like that, your sole proprietor, corporate, it could take time. It could take a lot of time. So it could take months to set up a corporate banking account. Like I've been working on mine for a while now, and it's just paperwork after paperwork after paperwork, signature, confirmation, this, that. Like it's a lot of work. So you should probably consider setting up your account, even if you're not trading yet. If you're still in the learning phase, set up your accounts. Go talk to your bank, say you want to set up a trading account where you're going to be investing and managing some of these assets on your own, and start that process of doing that so that you can at least be set up for the day you are ready. Because the last thing you want to do is be in a point where you're ready to trade and then be like 2 months away because you have to do like a corporate setup for an account or something like that. So very, very important. Pfizer. Okay, we can check Pfizer. Have your tutorials. Thanks for the work you do. No problem, man. I don't think there's any books teaching what I teach, Zephyr. TD Ameritrade, no fees. Yeah. Well, there's still fees on Ameritrade. It's just they're hidden, right? But there's still fees. But Ameritrade is good. I've never used, but I've heard good things. Pfizer. Pfizer is a medical company, right? Like, aren't they doing? What's the ticker for Pfizer? Aren't they doing the vaccines? I suppose I could Google it, but isn't there like Medicor is doing one? Pfizer. Vaccine, yes. Medications and vaccine. What's the if you want to learn about ranges, Lucas, butterfly effect. Moderna, PFE. Okay, PFE and Moderna. We can check that. I'm assuming these are just going through the roof, and they will be for a long time, right? Like these are probably just gone through the roof, right? Kind of, not really. When Pfizer first started, so the dollar creeps up to $46, creeps up, more like explodes. Okay, so really we need to look at where their current landscape is. And so I suppose that a lot of these companies are going to be vying for kind of recognition right now. So I suppose there's going to be a lot of companies that are close to their all-time highs. Just an assumption I'm going to make that, you know, these medical companies doing these vaccines are going to be close to their all-time highs, but until one is like kind of the proven winner, then none of them are really going to explode. So Visor, what do we know about Visor? Okay. I like to start. Okay, so one of the first things I do is I like to see how much history is in the company, and then the larger the history, the larger time frame I can use. So that's pretty important. Like that's why I always kind of zoom out on my charts, see when it started. Like if this thing was only started in 2010, for example, I wouldn't be using a monthly chart. I'd be using a weekly chart. So why I always start kind of zoomed out like that and just get a broader look to see how long it's been around. Yeah, Visor looks like it's going through a bit of a pullback right now. It's kind of rejecting its move at the moment, unfortunately, and it would have broke this to start, right? Like that would have been the start of its move right here, and this would have been onset by an even earlier interior trend, like so, right here. Sorry, right here. This would have been started by an earlier trend, right? Like this would have been onset. This move would have been onset from this trend, test trend, breaks trend, back test, moves up, breaks this trend, same thing, back test, moves up, laddering up, rejected its move. Okay, straightforward so far. Rejects its move, pulls back. You could be looking for a short on Visor around, it's already been hit, and that goes... it might be time to long Visor at $28, $29, and you're going to take a long on Visor. If it reaches down $29, like $28.50 is your long on Visor. Visor. I'm saying it Visor, like a visor. Like Jesus, that's EFT again. Escape from Tarkov. Too many visors. Pfizer. You're going to be looking for Pfizer. Speech class. Jesus. 28.50. 28.50 is really looks like where it's going to go to right now. Possibly what can get it there is a short from 30, 39.90, 40. Yeah, right here, 40.61. Right here, 40.61. Yeah, 40.61 to 28. That's the range that it should be in right now for Visor. So you're going to be taking a short and long on either of these spots. These are decent spots for leverage trades as well, and you would have very tight stops, and you wouldn't be entering this trade unless it hits one of these two things right here. Pretty good believer in that right now on this. I think you're really looking to I don't think 28 is gonna, I don't think it's gonna get to $28 easily, but I think it can definitely get to 28, but it's got to break this trend first right here. So it's definitely got to break this trend in order to get to $28, but I think it can get to $28 here. But 28.50, I'd be definitely loading up on Visor at 28.50. Nice call out on Visor, by the way. We're going to keep this one on our radar. So Visor, I'm going to put this on a list of stocks that we're going to be looking at. So med stock, Visor. And somebody said Moderna as well. What's the Moderna ticker? So you guys are probably kind of seeing something very stark here. You're like, oh, what the hell? I wouldn't take any of these trades unless they were at crucial moments. Like, here's the thing. I chart a billion charts and I take the odd trade, right? Like I chart a billion charts and take the odd trade. That's the way I trade. Really, I wouldn't be taking like Visor, for example. Looks good for another day, you know? The yen JPY looks good for another day. I'll chart a ton of things and then I'll take the positions and the opportunities when they make sense to take them. I'm looking at P. I think it's the wrong ticker. What kind of account would that be called for a bank? So what you're going to do, Charlie, is you're going to go to you're going to call your bank or whatever you're dealing with, or whoever you're dealing with, and say you're going to want to open up an investing account where you can manage it yourself. So that's what you're going to say, so you don't sound like an idiot. And if they say, what do you mean manage it by yourself? You're going to say, well, there's some different stocks that I'd like to trade myself, so I'd like to use your bank and trade the stocks myself. And I don't want it managed by one of your employees. I just would like to manage the trading myself. So that's what you're going to say if you don't want to sound like a bit of a bumbus. NVAX at $20, it exploded nowhere near all-time high. If you want to take a look, it's crazy. Sure, NVAX. I'm assuming NVAX is like a vaccine ticker because it's NVAX. PFE for Pfizer. Yeah, PFE. Yeah, so Pfizer looks good. Again, Pfizer looks good. Moderna, not really looking too much. And if you guys aren't sure of the ticker, like I'm just typing Moderna here, and then it's like, oh, mRNA, Moderna Inc., right? And then there's obviously different funds around Moderna, and index funds or things like that, or index funds or whatnot. Yeah, I mean, this thing's already back tested its range. It's still laddering up, right? Like it's already back tested its range. It's still laddering up. It simply just needs to break this trend right here. This is very straightforward. It's in a move right now. It's pumping right now. So you just be looking to take a long on Moderna, maybe in and around. Oh boy, that's a tough one. Around $114. $115. I don't know if it's necessarily going to break this trend. If it does, you might want to consider a short. So this could be either a short or a long, depending on what it does next. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark that. We are going to also mark this right here, which is your daily time frame down right there. So 154, oh, I don't think it's going to get up that high. I think you're more looking at this right here at 145. So you're definitely going to be looking at shorting one of these levels here. Yeah, I don't think you're really going up in the range. You could get super greedy and short the final range, which is 166. But these are very generic levels, guys. I'm not marking these exact. These are kind of generic levels because I'm not interested in looking at this right now because it's still not quite there. I would be looking to long this probably on trend. And I think if you break down the trend, I think you have to monitor when it's breaking trend, because buying trend here versus buying trend up here versus buying trend up here is all a very different spectrum of what range it's testing. So I wouldn't be looking to say, oh, buy trend. I would buy trend in the moment that it happens based on the ranges and the levels that are there. I wouldn't be just saying, oh, here's a trend, buy it. No, it doesn't work like that. You can't trade like that. You can't set a static level because of the markets. They change every day. Everything's always evolving. So you can't just say, oh, I'll buy trend. Yes, trend is a good idea to buy here as it was back here. Trend is a good idea to buy back here, and it tests here, and trend is likely going to test again. But trend testing doesn't mean it's going to hit trend to the dollar and jump off. You want to get the best entry. So, trend might come and break down like this. It might come and, it might break down to here before it regains its trend, right? So you want to make sure you're catching that moment, not, something else. So I would be monitoring trend and seeing what's happening for Moderna and NVAX. No, I don't think the gaps make it hard to chart at all. They used to call them windows back in the day. No, I don't think the windows in the charts, I don't think they're hard to, I think it's very, like, you're talking about stuff like this. It doesn't make it hard to trade. It still has a range on the top and bottom. That's a misconception. It doesn't make it hard to trade at all. Like, you'd say, oh, there's a gap here, it's hard to trade. Not really. Here's the range right here. There's the top of the range right there. And then the next range is like right here, right? So why would this be any harder or less hard to trade? It has a range, and then outside of that, it has, ranges inside of here and here and here. So it has its ranges. Even this is a great example of something that has windows in the market. Yeah, that's the old school term. That's like the term from like the 80s or the 50s or something. They used to call them windows. I just know them as windows from when I started. However long ago, windows, and then they started calling them gaps. I have a different meaning for gaps completely, so I never refer to them as gaps, but I know what you guys mean as gaps. But these are windows, and the modernized term is gaps. So these windows in the market, they don't make it any harder to trade. Thank you. You're welcome. Like I said, I don't want you to sound like a bumbus, right? Like, there's a range right there. There's this range right here. This doesn't make it easier or harder to trade. Not at all. Here's a range back here, right? Like, the ranges are everywhere on the chart. The windows don't make it harder. You're just too zoomed in time frame wise. See how they disappear? This probably just happened over a weekend. That's why you're seeing that. It doesn't, if the stock is not traded on a Saturday and a Sunday, and Monday morning it's already dumped, and you have this big gap in the market, well, that's just from a weekend sell-off that gets executed at Monday morning at 7:01 a.m. or 7 o'clock in the morning in 1 second, or 6 o'clock in the morning in 1 second, whatever time zone you're in, or 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time zone you're in when the market's open. That's just simply something happened over the weekend. Markets reopened, and it was the next action and price. You're just seeing a delay in the date, so you're just too zoomed in time frame wise. It makes no difference. Those windows make no difference. Depends on the trade room in. That's like butterfly effect, blueprint stuff. Stop losses is a combination between butterfly effect and blueprint. Share dilution due to rights issues. Nope. I would not take that into issue. All that fundamental crap means nothing. Sorry, I got to get a good stretch in. It's still pretty early here. It's only 8 in the morning. I've been up since 4. I woke up at 3 yesterday, 4 today. Starting to get ready for my schedule shift. BTC's dumping. 35,990. Doesn't look like it's dumping to me. I have a little, it's the coolest thing on my stream deck. I have a stream deck with all my scenes and stuff that I bought. On my stream deck, I have a little ticker. I wonder if I could show you guys. This is super cool. You know what I can do? Because I can't move my camera because my camera's mounted. I'm going to take a picture on my phone. This is pretty neat. And then just show you guys my phone. Oh boy, it's not really showing up. It kind of is. So this is my Stream Deck that's right in front of me. Okay. You guys probably can't see the icon, but here, let me get closer here. Come on, camera. You see down right here? There's a little BTC thing and it shows, oops. Oh, let's get back to that. Pretty neat. I didn't know you could do this on a Stream Deck. I'm gonna get back to that picture. Hold on, uno momento. I'll zoom into it. There, that way you guys might be able to see it. So on my Stream Deck, there's a little tiny box. It shows me the price of Bitcoin live, so I can always keep my eye on Bitcoin no matter what I'm charting. It's pretty neat little hack. I try to look at Windows gaps as an invisible candle. I think that helps. Yep. Time frame to hard close. Butterfly effect, my dude. Yeah, okay, so back to that question about dilution due to rights. So like shareholders and due to these kind of different... Let's go back to Bitcoin and watch BTC for a second. Due to these different... what are you going to call them? Rights, like shareholder rights and things like this. So back when... I guess it would have been October. Where am I located? Canada. October or something like that. And I talked about this last stream, but I'm going to talk about it again because I think it's a pretty important point. There's a coin called Sushi, and the owner sold all his sushi at $15, and everybody cried wolf, like, oh my god, Sushi's dumping, the owner screwed the company. This is simply just like, people have to realize that all these publicly traded companies, they all have shareholders, they all have owners, they all have people who own shares. Sushi's at $15. Hell, I would have sold too at $15. Not because I wanted to dump the market, not because the project's failing, because I created a coin and it was successful and I want to get paid and be able to be financially retired. I'm still going to work on the project. I'm still involved. The vision hasn't changed. Nothing has changed about it, but I want to, pay myself. I've worked for 5, 6, 7 years on this project. I want to finally, get rich off this project that everybody else is seemingly getting rich off of, and I'm still struggling. So I sell my shares at $15. I sell a bunch, and I'm paid. So this is one scenario. Another scenario is, I have Sushi Coin. Now this is a fictional scenario, but just because we're using Sushi Coin, it's fictional. It happens for real. So it's an actual situation that happens, and we're using a fictional example. So Sushi Coin is a great project. It's running out of capital. It doesn't have the clout to be monetized yet. The inventor of Sushi Coin is a genius. He makes this crazy DeFi protocol, or whatever Sushi is. He makes this crazy coin that makes a lot of sense, but he's an engineer. So he doesn't have the skill set to market this thing social media wise. He has no clue what he's doing, nor does he even have the time. Even if he did know, he doesn't have the time. So he gets shareholders involved. Shareholders say, okay, we'll be involved and it's going to cost this much. Owner says, well, I don't have that much money. What if I give you shares as well as money? Okay, well, give us shares, and when it gets to this price, let's dump it because we're going to fulfill our contractual obligations and our contractual requirements. So a lot of times these companies get help from third parties and they get paid in coin, and then there's this, they call it share dilution. It's not share dilution. So even you strip it back to a corporate setup where you have stocks and you have like, okay, so there's 1,000 Class A shares, 1,000 Class B shares, and then they make a Class C share, and there's 10,000 Class B shares and Class C. They make 10,000 Class C shares, and so 10 Class C shares equals 1 Class B share. So it seems like it's diluted, but it's not. Now some companies do it, but it's illegal when they do that to a point, right? Like there's laws that protect companies and people who invest in companies. And then if you're really going to get that nitty about it and start thinking about share dilution, then you might as well go look at the articles of incorporation of any company you're investing in, because if you're worried about share dilution in a company, you have to go look at the articles of incorporation and almost be a lawyer to understand the way their share structure is set up. If you have like freeze out clauses on assets, if you have rainy day clauses, if you have preferred class shares and how much and who owns what preferred class share, if you're just buying into an IPO, what type of share are you buying? If you're buying a stock, like then you have to be a real nit, and you have to go and you have to strip apart the actual articles of incorporation for every company. Well, good luck, because any stock you're going to ever look in and you're going to rip apart articles of incorporation, you're going to be looking at those articles of incorporation just as a precautionary measure for days on end, just to understand their legal structure. On top of actually getting a hold of those, it's going to cost you money and time unless they're publicly available. And then even if they are publicly available, good. So you want to buy one stock, and you spend 4 days ripping apart these articles of incorporation just to analyze if there's going to be share dilution. It just doesn't make sense. Share dilution is just part of the world. It's just it's how it works, and companies need to get paid. So I wouldn't be too focused on that. But yeah, share dilution, I wouldn't think too much about. Up. Hey, caught long time. Hey man, what's up, Weld? What's up, Choco? That's Choco, I believe. Yeah, that looks like Choco. What's up, dude? Trading net? Yeah, I don't really do too much with the other YouTubers. I don't really think. It was a good buy at 99 cents. Which one was? I think you're talking about NVAX. Oh, it's the worst if you're doing it on a cell phone, Charlie. No worries. Questions I didn't even have get answered. Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Choco? Yeah, if you're starting to go down that road of company structure and setup, you're just kind of already shooting yourself in the foot. You're not a day trader at that point. You might as well be a company analyst. You might as well be a stock analyst at that point, because you're not trading if you're spending that much time looking at that stuff. So yeah, I'd definitely be careful going down that road. Oh, that's funny. In Discord, they're talking about the 37,500 level I had marked yesterday. So I had told people yesterday 37.5 was where you'd want to short yesterday, and our people are talking about it in the Discord right now, asking if anybody took it. Yeah, it was a 100x spot. So would have been like I was talking about earlier, even if you're trading it to the range. So it's like a $10,000 trade. So yeah, it's good. Good trade. Would it trade? No, dude, Caleb, don't. You guys are getting into kind of like this. I'm going to be real with you guys, as I always am. You guys are all kind of, not all of you. So there's a lot of people getting into this, trying to justify things. You guys got to get that crap out of your mind. Like, I'm reading a comment right now, and it's not to pick on one person, because he's not the only person who said something like this, but like, I'll give you guys the truth always. I'm not going to fluff things up and, stroke your shoulders to get a viewer or a subscriber. Like, I'll just be real with you guys, and if you don't like it, just get out kind of thing, right? So somebody in chat says, do you guys think that because of the long weekend, institutions are not trading until tomorrow? The crypto market's not doing anything. Get those kind of thoughts as far away from you as possible. Any kind of justifications, and take this as like really good constructive advice, not as me picking on you specifically. Because also, this is not just meant to you. There's a lot of comments today about these kind of wonky questions. All these justifications as to why you guys think things aren't happening. 37.5 is a perfect example of that. This is something we looked at yesterday in our live trading on Discord, and 37.5 hit perfectly as it should have, and it went right to its range as it should have, and it's still moving. So there, any kind of like, you guys start going down the path of trying to make sense of things and fill in gaps, like, oh, I heard that institutions aren't trading this weekend because of this. I think the long weekend is here and nothing is happening. Oh, there's a rumor that Tether is going to dump because there's a lawsuit. When you start justifying things like that in the markets, you might as well just go be a fundamental analysis trader, because that's all you're doing. So you guys got to kick that stuff right out of your minds and take this as like, if I was doing mentorship with someone and they told me that, I would say, okay, we need to stop and we need to have a talk, and we're going to take this lesson, and you're going to learn about fundamental analysis and how useless it really is for a moment. Anytime you guys start making these types of justifications, you are shooting yourself in the foot, because there is no like, oh, it was the weekend, so they're not trading. Oh, there might be a tether lawsuit, so Cotton's popping off. Yeah, no, not really. Just trying to give some good advice. So there's a tether lawsuit, so tether might be dumping, so we should move our money into packs and this and that. Like all of that stuff, guys. If it was going to happen, it already would have on the chart. Trust me, there's no surprise announcements. This stuff's already well known in advance. What are we going to look at next? USD Cad. I'm from Canada. Me too. Let's go back to Forex chart. I agree. Let's go look at Cad USD. Did I open this on a... Oh, no, because I was doing USD CAD. I like to do CAD USD. Okay, let's go USD CAD on... we weren't doing Oanda, we were doing FX. Okay. CAD USD, right. Perfect. So yeah, just constructive criticism, guys, not picking on any one person. A good piece of advice that I would otherwise charge people to tell them. Get that stuff all out of your head. Trust me, when I work with exchanges, when I work with people with these big funds, that none of that stuff is anything. It's all propaganda. The science is explained in Butterfly Effect, Lucas. You show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. Yeah, exactly, Crypto Salamander, exactly. Be real forever, brother. And I thank you for the honest answer. Respect. No, I want you to learn, Caleb. It's not about like, oh man, what are you doing? You're an idiot. No, it's like, okay, let's stop right there. Let's cut the head off the beast right now so that you don't make that mistake again. It's about fixing a mistake so that you become a better trader. It's not about like, oh, stop bothering me with these questions. No, it's about like you're tuning into this and I want to give you some value. So it's about fixing a mistake so it makes you better as a trader, not about, and there's like, it's not just you. There's a lot of people starting to like ask those types of questions, and it's good for people to hear the raw truth. I wouldn't like, you guys know how much money I make on YouTube? $200 a month. I make $200 a month. There is no reason for me to be on YouTube other than for like, okay, I'm here to help, and that's it. Because I make $200 a month on YouTube. 200 for all the 80 hours a week of work I put in a week. I'm making like $2 an hour working on YouTube. So it's not to be like, oh, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat things, because what the hell am I like? I just made $10,000 on a trade yesterday. Why would I work for $2 an hour, right? So this platform is meant to help expose this to people, right? So, you know, I'm gonna just give you guys the truth, and I'm not gonna, you know, try to stroke people's egos for a subscriber. That's not what I do. It's not what I've ever done. It's not what I would do. There's no point. I just go day trade if I want money. I have money. I live in a nice house. I drive nice cars. I have money in the bank. I don't need it, right? This is here to help people. So it's like, yeah. Might sound a little harsh, might sound a little edgy, like a little, you know, a little whatever, but it's just the way it is, right? Like, if, you know, there's lots of channels out there that is, it's, you know, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. You'd love to watch a stream. It's going to be short, no app. Just join Patreon. Nice, dude. Glad to have you. LTC USDT. Let's do CAD first. We're in Forex here. Okay, let's do CAD first. We already did look at CAD, but I would actually like to, because I am a Canadian citizen, I would like to look at the Canadian dollar, and we already did, but I want to go into this a bit deeper. And let's go to a larger time frame first. Again, because we have more information on this chart, we are going to go to a larger time frame first. So obviously, you know, a big... okay, come on, TradingView, please, let's go. A big precursor to this move is that it actually laddered the move, and it didn't backtest the move. So a big precursor to this move is that you could see that the Canadian dollar was going to move up off the level it was holding, but more importantly, off the level it was holding, off of the actual ladder that it created. So it actually didn't test, even though it's close, it didn't quite test this, and it does create a ladder, which technically creates a trend, right? So the precursor to this entire trade is trends. Come on. This is not a level. You guys can see the difference. Over time, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, it doesn't matter. Over time, this trend will start to compress the move, right? So quite simply, the precursor to this entire move, and we can flip the chart back over. The precursor to this entire move is that it did ladder its move. And now it's, you know, Canadian dollar looks like it might Like I think the Canadian dollar is going up long term, just because of how hard it got hit down. But I do think we're going to go through a pullback first. Like I think you're going to pull back on the Canadian dollar to about 75 cents again. I'll be looking to go into the Canadian dollar. Yeah, that 75-cent mark right here. Where is that on the daily? Yep, that's like perfect. So I do think you're pulling back to the 75-cent mark on the Canadian dollar, but then long term moving up. So, what used to be considered a good amount of push for the Canadian dollar, what used to be considered like a good 75 cents was considered good. I think that's kind of the new bottom of its range right now. So I think you are indeed pulling back to 75 cents, but I think at 75 cents you can buy this to look for the break up to 83 cents here. So I do think you can look for the break, and I believe you're actually only going to the oops, no, what the heck? Oh no, trading pairs, no, what is this? Misclick. Yikes, old man boomer stuff. I do think you're going to 83 cents here on the Canadian dollar, but I think you need to pull back to 75 first. So I think you've got a good short here, and I think you've got a good long here. So if you're looking at doing some different shifting of money from funds, this is definitely something we have to keep an eye on. Prior to the Canadian dollar being hit, I think we are going to go and see yen hitting its level first, though, because I think this has a bit of ways to move, although the trend is pretty sharp. So yeah, I mean, what do you have, like a month here? January, February? Yeah, you've got like a month. So this thing kind of needs to hold its range for a month, and that'll have a pullback. How come you often refer to trades as $10,000 trades instead of percentage? Is there a cap to how much money you can put in a trade successfully? No, because I trade 100x with $2,500 a spot, Rigster. So I typically look to make anywhere from 2 to 6% on a trade. So if I'm trading with 100x at 2,500, like that, for example, that trade yesterday would have been 10,000 profit. So that's just how I trade. I just do futures trading at 100x with the maximum amount for a pedestrian account or consumer account or retail account. Like a normal account, a non-business account is $2,500 is the max you can use on Binance. So that's just where I look to make my trades, 2,500 USD per trade on a 100x contract. So that's just often how I'm going to refer to my trades, because that's just the level of which I trade and which I expect my butterfly effect students to be trading at. Thank you for your content. You helped a lot of us. Nice, man. Well, we're just getting started. 2021 is young. It's only January. My ear infection is going away, so I'm going to get back to recording this week. It's still a little bad, but I went to bed at 7 p.m. last night. Was it 7 or 8? It was like between 7 and 8 p.m. thinking that I could sleep it off, and I woke up and it's still here, but it's getting better. You want to watch the screen, but you got busy charting CAD USD. How much did you lost on your worst trade? Like 10K, probably? Let me think about that, Cementer. Definitely lost 10K on a trade. No, 7,500. Like I think the worst trade is like 7,500 US I've ever lost. But I mean, it's relative to what you're trading with and how much you make, right? So I think sounds like a lot of money, but it also depends, because there's also days where I've made 6 figures in a day. So it just depends. I just want to learn more about TA. I'm so appreciative for this word up. Yeah, man. Every day, Monday to Friday, the morning show. With the exception, because obviously I'm going to have days off for recording and stuff like that. IDC, okay, or Saxo. Oh, Saxo. Saxon Capital Group. And what is IDC on the NAS? Let's go Saxo. OTC Saxo. So what is this? The stock. So this is a Saxon Capital Group. No clue what it is. Jesus. You got time. You've got time on Saxo. Yeah, you've got a lot of time, actually. There's the break right there. You've got a lot of time on Saxo. Well, I mean, I guess not too much time, but you've got time. A couple years, 1 year. Got time on this. Nice chart though. Boy, this is going to be something. Pay attention to Saxon this year, I guess, towards the end of the year. Look for the news release around December, maybe November, October. I'd rather teach someone how to do it right than not be fake and BS people. Same values. Yeah, it's why my channel hasn't grown, right? Because I haven't gone out and subscribed to like these auto subscribe bots or like go and shield my name or, you know, made good with content partners. And like, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You have a YouTube channel. You're supposed to go and, you know, do podcasts and news releases. And you're supposed to go and do like partnerships with other traders and get, you know, offer another influencer something to say your name. Like, I'm not going to do that crap. I don't, why? You do that to build a career on YouTube. Like, yeah, it would be cool to have a big YouTube channel. I'm gonna get there organically on my terms. I don't need to, you know, if I need money, I trade. And my patron community supports me because we do a lot of good work on Patreon. So it's not like you know, it's yeah. No, I don't think it's dead. I think Bitcoin is just pumping. The stupid mistakes you make yourself. Yep. No thoughts on IOTA. Feels bad, Roman. No thoughts on IOTA. Okay, that wraps it up for today, guys. Tomorrow we are going to be back at 7 a.m. and we are going to be starting to build our list. So tomorrow we'll start with Forex, and we're going to build our list of Forex coins that we're going to be looking at this year. And we're going to be so you're definitely going to want to catch these streams, because if we are building our list, then we definitely want to be all on the same page. Or you know, you guys can catch up on your own time, I suppose. But I'm going to be looking at a list of Forex coins that we're going to be looking at all year long. And you know, when the opportunities come, then I'll be taking them. And you know, much of that stuff will be talked about tomorrow. And then the following day, we're probably going to do commodities. I don't think we need a day for crypto. I've been trading crypto since day one. I don't think you need, we don't need anything for crypto, because I simply just go BTC on crypto. Commodities is going to be another one that we do on the following day. So Wednesday, we're going to do commodities. Stocks, we're going to do Thursday. I'm likely going to take one of these days off from the morning stream to do a recording, because I want to get another Trading Life video out this week, possibly two, but I'm going to do one on the weekend and one on during the week. So one of these days are going to be off. So make sure you're following on Twitter if you want to keep up with the schedule, because I'll be posting those kind of updates on Twitter. But you guys want to make sure you're going to want to make sure you don't miss tomorrow and the following days, because we're really setting up our list for the year. So that's going to be pretty important to be a part of. And then Friday, hopefully we'll get kicked into the whole morning show, the regular routine. Read a few chats as we say goodbye. 3% today, no leverage. Nice hack. That's great. Hopefully you had a good amount on it. Cheers and thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for helping out. Well, thank you guys for being here. This was a great Monday morning. And although our schedule is not, I shouldn't say our schedule is set. It's 7 a.m. Monday to Friday. Even though the flow of the stream is not where I want it to be at, we're working on it, and slowly we'll piece it together and get it to where I feel comfortable in moving through these stocks at a very fast pace. And within half an hour, we'll pretty much be done our outlook for the day and be able to just move on to trading. So that'll be great. And yeah, 30 minutes in the morning, get a full outlook, because that's really what we want to create. Is we want to create the first 30 minutes that we are day trading in our day. We want to create that first 30 minutes as kind of this positive flow and understanding of, okay, this is what happened in the past day. This is what's happening overnight. This is what we should expect for the day. So by Friday, we should have that list at least created. and then we can start getting used to 30 minutes in the morning, and we have our full kind of expectations for the day done, and that just gives us our time to trade and do nothing else but just trade, and whatever else you guys like to do for your extra time. Thanks again, Austin, for the amazing donations. So Austin is using the super chat feature, and he's hit up $5 like 3 or 4 times now. So thank you so much, Austin. And if anybody else wants to use that feature, I believe it's in the chat bar somewhere. But thank you so much, Austin. That's great that you're first person to kind of use that feature. You're world first. I think Camilla, or Camille was the first one who had a 99 center, but anyways, you're the first kind of $5 one, and you two are the first two. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, see you tomorrow.